My brother stole my fiancée, and I laughed at their wedding because I knew their perfect life was a ticking time bomb. 2 years later, they're broke, desperate, and knocking on my door for help. Funny how fate flips the script. Ethan's hands shook as he gripped the edge of his kitchen counter, staring at the eviction notice crumpled on the floor. The apartment, once filled with laughter and dreams, now echoed with the silence of betrayal. 2 years ago, he'd been planning a life with Lily, the woman who'd promised him forever until he caught her in his brother Jake's arms. Their secret affair exposed like a gut punch on the night of his proposal. Ethan had loved Lily since college, her infectious smile and fierce ambition lighting up his world. She was a graphic designer with dreams of starting her own studio, and he, a struggling musician, had spent years scraping by to support her. Jake, on the other hand, was the golden boy, charming, successful, a tech entrepreneur with a penthouse and a swagger that made Ethan feel small. When Ethan walked into Lily's apartment that night, expecting to slide a ring on her finger, he found her tangled in Jake's embrace, their laughter slicing through him like a blade. "I'm sorry, Ethan," Lily had stammered, tears in her eyes. "It just happened." Jake didn't even flinch. "She deserves better," he'd said, his voice dripping with condescension. "You can't give her the life I can." Ethan didn't scream or fight. He just walked away, the ring burning a hole in his pocket. 6 months later, Lily and Jake's wedding photos flooded social media, a lavish affair with champagne fountains and a string quartet. Ethan scrolled through them, his heart a battlefield of rage and grief. But he told himself he was over it. He had to be. Now Maurer, standing in his rundown apartment, Ethan heard a knock. He opened the door to find Lily and Jake, their designer clothes replaced by threadbare jackets, their faces gaunt. The pitch-perfect couple, once untouchable, looked like ghosts of their former selves. "We need your help," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes, once bright, were dulled by shame. Ethan leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Why should I care? You made your choice." Jake's jaw tightened, but his usual arrogance was gone. "We're broke, man. The business tanked. We're about to lose everything." Ethan wanted to laugh, to slam the door in their faces, but something in Lily's eyes, a flicker of the woman he'd once loved, stopped him. Against every instinct, he let them in. The story of their downfall came in fragments. Jake's tech startup, built on hype and shaky investments, had collapsed under a lawsuit from a rival company. Their savings vanished, their penthouse was repossessed, and their so-called friends had abandoned them. Lily, who'd quit her job to play the perfect trophy wife, had no portfolio to fall back on. They'd been living in a motel, scraping by on odd jobs, until even that ran dry. "We didn't know where else to go," Lily said, staring at the floor. "You're the only one who might understand." Ethan's laugh was bitter. "Understand you cheated on me with my brother. Lily, you married him, and now you're here because you've got nowhere else to crash." Jake stood, his fists clenched. "Don't act like you're above us, Ethan. You're still stuck in this dump, chasing your music dreams that never went anywhere." The words stung, but Ethan held his ground. "At least I didn't build my life on lies." The tension in the room was suffocating, a storm of old wounds and new desperation. Ethan wanted to throw them out, to let them drown in their own mess. But as he looked at Lily, he saw the girl who'd once stayed up all night sketching logos for his band, who'd believed in him when no one else did. And Jake, for all his flaws, was still his brother, the one who'd taught him to ride a bike, who'd shared his dreams of making it big. They were broken, all of them, and Ethan realized he had a choice to hold on to his anger or to offer a lifeline. "I'll help," he said finally, his voice low, "but not for free. You'll work for it." He gave them a deal they could stay in his spare room, but they'd have to pull their weight. Lily took freelance gigs, her old spark reigniting as she rebuilt her portfolio. Jake, stripped of his ego, started driving for a rideshare app, his charm winning him tips despite his circumstances. Ethan, meanwhile, poured his pain into his music, writing songs that bled with honesty. For the first time in years, his gigs started drawing crowds. Living together was a minefield. Every shared meal, every glance, carried the weight of their history. One night, over cheap takeout, Lily broke the silence. "I never meant to hurt you, Ethan. I thought Jake was stability. I was wrong." Jake's fork froze midair. "You're saying I'm the mistake." "No," Lily said, tears spilling. "I'm the mistake. I chose the wrong things for the wrong reasons." Ethan watched them, his heart a tangle of empathy and resentment. He wanted to hate them, but he saw their humanity, their flaws, their regrets, their struggle to rebuild. He thought of his own dreams, how he'd clung to them despite the world's indifference. Maybe redemption wasn't about erasing the past, but about building something new from the wreckage. Months passed, and the trio found a fragile rhythm. Lily's freelance work took off, landing her a contract with a local startup. Jake, humbled by his fall, started mentoring young entrepreneurs, sharing his failures as lessons. Ethan's music caught the ear of a small label, and he recorded his first EP, a raw, soulful collection that resonated with anyone who'd ever been broken and kept going. One evening, as they sat on Ethan's tiny balcony, the city lights flickering below, Jake spoke up. "I'm sorry, man, for everything. I thought I was better than you, but I was just scared of failing." Ethan nodded, the weight of years lifting slightly. "We all were. Still are." Lily reached for both their hands, her touch tentative but warm. "Thank you, Ethan, for giving us a chance when we didn't deserve it." The three of them weren't a family, not in the traditional sense, but they were something else, survivors bound by shared pain and the stubborn will to keep going. Ethan realized that forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about choosing to move forward, even when it hurt. Their story wasn't perfect. There were still arguments, still moments when old wounds bled through, but they were trying, and that was enough. Ethan's music played softly in the background, a reminder that beauty could emerge from brokenness, that hope could rise from betrayal. As the city hummed below, Ethan looked at Lily and Jake, no longer the pitch-perfect couple, but two people fighting to reclaim their lives. He didn't know if they'd make it, but he knew he'd given them a chance, and in doing so, he'd given himself one too. What do you think? Did Ethan do the right thing by helping them? Or should he have let them face the consequences of their choices? Share your thoughts. In the term,